Hello. Welcome to Battleground, our new series on war games. Wargaming was once aptly called by H.G. Wells chess with 1,000 pieces. I rather like that. All the model soldiers that you're going to see are just like chessmen, and every move they make is strictly governed by the rules. The rules themselves are designed to recreate the battleground conditions of that period. You can fight all sorts of war games. You can even use computers. You can play in any historical period that appeals to you. A game can last a couple of hours or a couple of weeks and can look as simple or as ornate as you make it. And you do make it. You create your own terrain, you buy the models, you paint them. But please don't panic, because war gamers really are a friendly lot. And anyway, you can always borrow a battalion. In the series, we're going to look at some famous battles to show you a war game based upon each one. We'll use the right armies, and we'll play it over the same ground, in miniature, of course. But remember, it is not a reenactment, it's a war game. And we may very well reverse history, and that often happens. Edgehill. It was the first major battle of the English Civil War. It was a time when men trailed pikes and shouldered muskets. Charles I had raised his standard in Nottingham and was heading for London when south of Warwick he encountered a parliamentary army led by the Earl of Essex. The king took his position on the ridge of Edgehill, just here, leaving the lower ground, and I may say the inferior ground, to Essex. In numbers, they were pretty evenly matched, but Essex was waiting for reserves and didn't attempt to close. Eventually, Charles ordered his troops to move down the hill, and the armies faced each other across half a mile of open country. Both were in the usual military formation, infantry here in the center, artillery, cavalry on each flank, here, 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 here. The battle was a classic of the pike and musket period. First, there was an exchange of gunfire. No one ran away, and so the cavalry and then the infantry engaged. It's called a melee. The Royalist cavalry was led by the dashing Prince Rupert of the Rhine, and he swept the Parliamentarian cavalry from the field and chased them for miles. The Royalists were doing very well when Essex revealed his cavalry reserves, who advanced round the now unprotected infantry flank, reaching the royal cannon. They might well have captured the king, but the Royalist cavalry returned in the nick of time. And finally, the infantry, by now exhausted, well, it simply went home. The king claimed a victory, but in fact, Edgehill was more a stalemate. This is the map of our battleground, showing the main features of the terrain. Red on the right for the Royalists, blue on the left for the Parliamentarians. The plain blocks are infantry, the two colour blocks cavalry. Those with the gun pattern are artillery. These are in fact standard symbols. You can see that our players have chosen to set up their troops in exactly the same position as 1642. The Royalists on the ridge, the Parliamentarians on the low ground. In fact, for this period and given this terrain, they'd have been hard put to do anything else and still have a chance of winning. This is the terrain. It's built to scale, and each model represents 20 men. Now, in this opening move, both players are beginning their advance. Before the game, they wrote their battle orders for their own troops and established the caliber of their units. Regular, elite, or raw, using dice. They can countermand orders, but it does take time.
I've vanished too far.
Duncan Macfarlane is a very experienced wargamer. Professionally, he's a school librarian in Hull, and today he is commanding the Royalists. Also from Hull, John Tilson, commanding the Parliamentarians. He's an inspector for a dairy.
I hope he's left his town tonight. So you don't get any extra for fighting.
Because of the scale, players have to measure move distances. The models can travel only as far as real soldiers could in a real battle in any given time, so that time itself is scaled down. Wargamers have to know their history, about weapons, tactics, in fact anything that could affect troop morale and so disciplines. Chance factors such as weapon accuracy, morale and reaction are all controlled by a dice.
I'm going to take some points off these pipes. Oh, too dangerous for walking. You can leave those there to too old anyway.
That's my movement finished.
That's mine as well.
Right, artillery fire then.
The big guns.
Well, have the first shot if you don't mind.
That stick measures the range.
This one's
How
got a
much?
clear field of fire.
Yes.
So I'll aim at that pike column there.
Any particular figure?
Over the officer with a pistol. Right, this is the dice for the windage. 6, so it's bang on target. For the bounce. 6 in the blue section.
Well, it's very good firing, but you've missed everything.
What?
Everything.
Oh, great. The gunners are drunk on this. Like it was Sunday morning. This gun onto the purple pike column there.
More boots.
Let's put it over the flag.
Over the flag?
This is the windage. 2 going to the right. A little bit more. That's it.
The blue regiment.
The dice for the bounce.
This
1.
one is a red. Misses everything again.
Again?
Again.
God's blood.
With both flanks
Right,
in
that's
position to
my
charge.
shooting gun, so it's your turn.
I think you'll go for the centre.
Yes. I think we will pound your lifeguards into submission, I think. Strike
Yes,
over
he
the
is.
centre of the
2
target.
dice. Again, the first for windage, which is cannonball deflection, and the second for bounce, which means just what it says. The dice throw relates to one of the 4 colours on the stick, and casualties will be under the appropriate colour. Well, it's all marked, as indeed you saw.
On the muskets.
Fall of shot. 3. This is
3.
white.
White.
Anything with a white?
You get 1, 2 musketeers, so 1 in each unit.
Oops.
That gun?
Yes.
Presumably
You
the
know
same
the
time. You
target.
don't like life guns.
When did you go in?
4.
4 of shot.
In the blue. Well, you've got 3 out of this regiment. A lucky shot for
Not
you.
hit, I think. I believe.
Any more?
That is it. This is a short range weapon, so.
Yeah. Right, that's it then. Right, let's test the morale of the cavalry units that have come within charge reach.
Troop morale is only part circumstance.
Here and
Is there support?
I think you'll just have the 2 faces.
Is the general there? The rest is luck.
We'll put some over.
So dice, 3 this time. These 2
Yes.
cavalry units are close enough to
Dice there for
charge.
these.
But if morale is too low, they'll be
13.
undisciplined and they may run the other way.
Right, 13. I'll +1 for every friendly unit within 15 inches. So that puts me up to 14, 15, 16. See this one through the gap here. 17, 18 for this pike and musket unit here. I get 1 for being uphill, which is 19. And Prince Rupert himself is with that unit, which pluses 3. So that's up to 22. Now, reductions. I don't know if any of your troops are within 50. No, you're out, so there's no reductions. So they have an A-class morale grade, so they will do an uncontrolled advance.
Right.
So that's an automatic charge next move.
And that'll be a compulsory.
Switch unit first. So you counter charge on you?
Well, this
No,
will be
not
the second
A-class.
possible cavalry
Well,
charge.
just standard signal. We have 10 there, so that's friendly units within 15. There's 1, 2. You get this one? 3.
3. Puts you up to 13.
13. C-class, you are within 15 inches, aren't you?
Yes, 2 units.
Yes, it's
Puts you down to 11. Well, you're not going to go into
C-class,
control
okay.
advance there, so they will be
So
okay.
they'll counter-charge them.
Right, move 2. These cavalry charges are compulsory moves, so shall we leave those and do the infantry first and come back to them later? Right. Off the hill now, if you want to pluck up courage and come forward.
That's what I'm waiting for you to do.
You bet he's been waiting for that. He's managed to draw Duncan's troops off the hill rather than go to meet them, which would have been to the Royalist advantage, and I think Duncan's going to be very sorry.
Is that all the infantry?
Yes.
Right, well this is a compulsory charge, which will have to be on that unit, which is the nearest.
Counter-charging?
Yep. There's about 17.5 inches between, 17 inches between us, so if we go 8.5 inches forward...
Both men will have ordered support for this charge.
Down here. Okay.
In the middle.
This is where you meet your doom. These units have support orders, so we'll move forward behind the charge.
You've been reading my orders.
By the way, melee is just a term for a punch-up. The written orders brought them into range, the dice established that they would go in, and now the dice will decide the outcome.
Right, the same thing on the other flank then.
They'll use a chart for these melees. You saw the green one they used for the morale test. This one gives a mean average number of casualties based on the number of men fighting. The dice throw, again, provides the chance element, so a small troop could triumph.
Put my overlap on this side if I may.
You may.
Due to the thickness of the turning there. Support orders here.
Same with these. And in fact, I'll move these muskets forward because I couldn't last time with the cavalry in the way.
Right, saving Simon. Safety in numbers.
Right, is that the movement?
Yes,
That's it. So fight the melee. Shall we do this one first?
Yes. Most important.
Yeah, I'll have the best chance here, you see. Right, how many figures have you got fighting there?
2, 4, 6, 7. Including the gentleman himself, Mr. Ramsey.
Yes, well, I've got 11. No, I haven't. I've got 10 there. 10, so... Shall I have my hack first?
Yes. Yep, numbers.
I've thrown a 9. So that's 10 fighting. Throwing a 9, you lose 2 men dead there.
2. I'll put them up here.
Right, your hack back then.
Right. Here it goes.
Oh, very good.
2 ones.
Very good.
Could be better.
That's what, 7 fighting, is it?
It is, yes.
7 with a 2. You don't kill any at all, I'm afraid.
None at all?
None at all, quite just.
Is it possible?
Right, so that must be a rout
yes,
for you
it's a different
there.
one for me, isn't it, there?
Yes, hard luck. So,
Not sure if Duncan means that.
Pick up these turbo dice.
Shall I hack first again?
Yes, I think...
I've got 10 fighting once more. And I'm throwing 4. 10 men as a 4 is only 1 casualty for you there.
There's a chance to get my own back here, I think.
Oh, God. How many of you got fighting?
It's 2, 4, 6, 8,
12.
10, 12.
3 dead. 3 dead. So you've routed me there.
Yes, that was 1
Oh, dear.
to me. 3, that's a definite
So that's
rout.
it then. You route there, and I route here.
much of the you nasties. I think I'll get me on back with some musketry, I think.
All right, well, I've nothing that can fire muskets because everything's moved a full move.
Right, we'll start off with the dragoons, I think. Just been in the field half a move.
You're in range there, are you?
Just see, I think a few are.
That stick is another range device. The dark colour, short range, into the lights, it's long.
Yes, fire those two overhead if I'm up the hill.
Five.
Five firing.
Five.
Right, throw your dice.
5 throwing. 7. He's 1.
Yeah.
1.
So I'll take that one off.
Right. Now to give your lifeguards the cut movements. Right. All in long range, 12. Okay, again?
Yep.
Right. 12 men firing, throwing. There's a lovely 12. And that kills a very nice 3 figures.
3 dead.
John used a similar chart for musketry as for the melees, and its casualty figures are based on the number of men firing together with the dice throw.
That's all my firing, as far as I can see.
Now we're into the cannon again.
Right, do you want to fire first?
No, you can.
Right, I think I can now fire these 2 guns. The men in front have gone down the hill.
What's the target?
I'll fire it over at your cavalry.
That one?
At those, yes, that unit there. Right, the dice for the windage of 1, so that's over to my left. Right, what do I need?
5 or 6, I think. A bit of luck.
Oh dear,
1.
1. What's
She's
that?
red.
Any kills?
Nope.
Missed
Bounce.
everything.
Bounce. Missed.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, that's very nice.
The other gun?
Oh, I don't think Duncan should fire that other gun.
No, I'll have to be onto that because...
Hollis's regiment? Any particular...
Actually, I'm not going to risk firing this because with everything in the green section, an automatic kill, if I deviate,
You will
I
kill,
will kill my own people. So
Well,
I shall abstain from firing there.
Right.
So it's your firing.
I think you can guess my target.
Yes.
As I'm allowed to fight any period through the move. Can I
You're
know to
firing
your
before
lifeguards?
the infantry to penetrate
That's
the
right.
beginning of the move.
John's reminding Duncan that although the players move a bit at a time, all the different actions in any one move are understood to be happening simultaneously, as in fact in real life.
For windage?
1 is still over the lifeguards. If you get a white or a blue sector.
Or shot?
So 4 that's in the white.
Into your lifeguards, which is what I wanted.
So you'll get 2 men in this regiment, 2 pikemen, and a musketeer in this regiment on the second bounce of the shot.
That's very good.
We've got him already.
So
I'll take this one off. And 2 in this pike regiment will come off as well.
Right. Again, the lifeguards.
Yes.
John really is going for that lead regiment, the Lifeguards. They were the first of the Guard regiments of the British Army, and he's trying to break their morale.
For windage again.
2. You're going to deviate a little. You'll still be on the Lifeguards and on this green unit here.
2 again.
2 is in the red. So you're going to get again 2 musketeers in the Lifeguards here.
Right, good. That's good enough.
They're taking a lot of hammer, aren't they?
The lifeguards, death guards. And I believe that's all.
That's all you're firing,
It is,
is it?
yes.
So that's the position. Remember, the Royalists are red on the right and the Parliamentarians blue. You can see that neither cavalry wings are looking good. The Royalists nearest to us have been broken and they're running off. On the other flank, it's the Parliamentarians who are in trouble. Prince Rupert is giving chase, so his forces are not going to be much help later on.
Right, then the compulsory moves first. All your cavalry will rout back.
Right, my indisciplined
Now,
mob.
let's, 20-inch move, isn't it? And my unit will have to follow you up here.
So rub that 20 inches in.
Right, they'll be okay there.
Okay then. So they have to
Right,
take
that's the compulsory on this side. So we have down the other flank, I'm in route. And these come back 20 inches. Which brings them down here. And these will be swept away as the cavalry gallop back through them.
Right. Yes, they do. Parliamentary grin.
They're route to there. And your pursuers should be in the rear of these infantry
Yes,
now.
they'll have to stop at the infantry.
Right, that's the compulsories.
Compulsory's finished.
So it's charges to declare if you've got any.
Just the one, Duncan.
Yes.
John's going to charge that left flank. It will leave Duncan quite unsupported in the centre. So you'd better watch it.
Shouldn't think you'll have any problems with me in route.
No.
8. No, you'll go in on that. Right, well, if that's the only charge, I think it must be. Nothing else can charge.
No, everything else is charging backwards.
I'd have time to do nothing but turn to face you, so...
Well, that's the remnants of Duncan's cavalry. He's been caught on the hop.
And you should hit me
The move is
frontally.
adequate to do that. To wheel and to catch yourself. Stationary.
They won't be there long.
Not a D-class. So,
Right then, the normal moves for the infantry.
normal moves. Brook, I think his time came up. Support. Up and have some lads. Up and have them. Just finished.
Right then, next move. These are in route. That's a compulsory move back.
Right.
They're going to sweep away these musketeers too.
Right. Straight
So
line.
20 inches brings them behind this gun.
Okay.
Right, that's the, I don't think we need
We can
bother to
ignore
move
that,
those
yeah.
because they're all being
They will pursue
swept
quite
away
a-
off the board, aren't they?
So there's
So, have
charges.
you any charges? Yeah.
Just the one on the...
Having thrown all his firepower into the centre, John now wants to charge.
Test their reaction.
He's hoping to rout the lead unit, who in turn will cause the unit behind to follow suit.
9.
You'll charge. So, I'll throw a reaction test to see if I can receive your charge or even counter-charge if I...
Duncan has a problem. His own troops are running past each other the wrong way, and morale is affected. And that centre unit, although the Life Guards has a calibre second to none, it has been shot to pieces, and although not routed, it's not exactly moving forward. If Duncan's centre collapses through bad morale, there's not a thing he can do, and that'll be the end for him.
And in fact, on their route, which I think is 12 inches, they're inevitably going to sweep away this other unit. They'll
That's
go
the way
right
to
back
do
through
it.
it, and that'll route too. So, you know, I don't see how I can win this now. I think I may as well concede the game to you.
So you see, this time we have reversed history, with a decisive win for the Parliamentarians. In spite of Prince Rupert's success in that one charge, Duncan was pressed into a position from which there was no escape. And John, in spite of losing that first melee on his left flank, cleverly drew the Royalists from their superior position up on the ridge, pounded away with his guns, and then when the morale of Duncan's troops was suitably and justifiably at its lowest ebb, he pulled a flanker on the remaining Royalist cavalry, putting his troops into the comfortable position of being able to fire into the Life Guards without hindrance. They couldn't fight back. They had no support and no time. But even if they had their time, the morale was destroyed. Well, that's all for this week, and I hope you've enjoyed the programme. I hope you'll join us next time, when we will be looking at Waterloo. Goodbye.